Okay, so picture this. You're convinced that a powerful system is about to lock you up, and you think it's totally wrong. Your only weapon? A camera. That's the really desperate situation at the heart of this story. One man's recorded race against what he claims is his own imminent and unconstitutional imprisonment. And it all kicks off with this really urgent warning from a guy named Reynaldo Aguiar Marcano. On January 18th, 2026, he turned on his camera because he was absolutely convinced that he only had a few days before a coordinated effort would land him in a Texas jail cell.
So you gotta ask, right? Where's this warning coming from? Well, according to his recording, Aguiar was tipped off by an informant about a plot with multiple angles to imprison him, a plot he felt he desperately needed to get on record before it was too late.
Now, just so we're all on the same page, everything we're looking at here comes straight from Aguiar's own words, his recordings and the legal documents he filed in January of 2026. And in them, he doesn't just allege one plan, but three totally distinct plots that he believes are being prepared to make sure he's put behind bars.
So let's break down these three alleged avenues of attack. He believes they're designed to be independent of each other, like a three-pronged strategy, to guarantee that if one fails, another one will get him.
And what's really striking here is just how different these alleged plots are. I mean, they're all over the place. It goes from a contempt of court charge in his divorce case to a pretty minor civil thing with his HOA, all the way to a very serious fabricated criminal accusation. It really suggests a strategy of attacking him from every possible angle. Okay, so the first and most immediate threat, Aguiar says, is a hearing that was set for January 22nd. He's expecting the judge, a man named Oscar Telfair, to deny his motion to be removed from the case, find him in contempt of court, and then just order him jailed right then and there. Then he describes something that sounds straight out of a movie, a setup involving his former partner. He alleges she was carrying a bugged water bottle to record their conversation. The plan, he claims, was to splice together audio clips to make it sound like he was admitting to a physical assault, which he says is a complete fabrication. And the third way to get him to prison, he says, is maybe the most ordinary, but he thinks it's just as dangerous. He claims a law firm is using a simple civil dispute with his homeowners association over a no trespassing sign as the legal excuse to get him jailed for contempt. So, facing all these alleged threats, Aguiar decided to go on the offensive. In his divorce case, he filed a formal motion to get Judge Telfair kicked off the case. It's a legal move called recusal. He's arguing the judge is so biased against him that there's just no way he can get a fair hearing. But, there are two sides to every story. The opposing lawyer shot back in a court filing, calling the claim ludicrous and just a tactic to delay everything. So that really raises the big question. What evidence does Aguiar actually bring to the table to back up such a serious accusation against a judge?
Well, Aguiar's filing lays out this timeline to argue that this whole conflict isn't something he just made up. He shows that months before this hearing ever got scheduled, he had already put Judge Telfair on the cover of a book about his case and even named him in a formal whistleblower complaint to the IRS.
And this is how he tries to prove his point. In his motion, he gives the court these documents. You can see a redacted IRS form from December 2025 that names Judge Telfair, and right next to it, an Amazon receipt from way back in August 2025, showing he sent that book straight to the opposing lawyer's firm. With that state court hearing getting closer and closer, Aguiar took his fight to the next level. He went to the federal system and tried to file for an emergency stay from the U.S. Court of Appeals, which is basically a legal Hail Mary to get a higher court to stop what a lower court is doing immediately. But according to a formal complaint he then filed with the Department of Justice, his plea for help was stopped dead in its tracks. He alleges the clerk's office just flat out refused to accept his emergency motion, which meant it would never even get in front of a judge. He's essentially saying they denied his fundamental right to access the courts. So the crucial point for him is right here in this email, which he attached as evidence in that DOJ complaint. An assistant case manager for the court writes, any further attempts to file for stay will not be acknowledged. For Aguiar, this is the smoking gun, direct evidence of obstruction of justice, arguing that they're refusing to even consider his case before he files it. And all of this leaves us with a really high-stakes standoff. On one side, you have a man who believes he has documented a whole conspiracy to wrongfully imprison him. And on the other side is the very judicial system he's accusing, from a state judge all the way up to a federal court clerk. So let's just quickly recap the incredible scope of this alleged conspiracy. In his official filings, Aguiar is accusing the state judge of being biased, the opposing lawyers of lying. He's claiming his former partner is being used in a criminal setup, and he's alleging a federal court clerk is actively blocking him from justice. He's not just pointing a finger at one person, he's pointing at multiple levels of the legal system.
So, when you put it all together, the recordings and all these legal documents, they lay out a very detailed and pretty disturbing story, at least from one man's perspective. And they leave us with a stark final question. Are we looking at a whistleblower's carefully documented evidence of corruption? Or is this, as the other side insists, just a ludicrous fabrication meant to derail justice?